Alright, hello and welcome to episode 3 of our Out of the Park Baseball 2020 MLB Simulation Series. You know the drill by now. We're just gonna simulate the 2020 season and talk about it, do some commentary. Hopefully things are different from the first two simulations. Hopefully we get some interesting results. That's about it. Let's get into it. Okay, the Dodgers are 18 and 4. 19 and 4, 20 and 4. Jesus. 24 and 5, 25 and 5, 26 and 5. That is an insanely good start. Actually, that is insane. That is insane. That does not happen in baseball. Cubs are already well under 500. Not surprising. Alex Smith already off to his signature hot start with the stolen bases there. I expect him to continue improving, and believe me when I say this, he will get 100 stolen bases in one of these simulations. That's just a promise. He's going to keep stealing more, and eventually he'll steal 100. He just steals too many of them for that to not happen. Cubs are at the top of the Central! Oh? Okay, if the Cubs actually do well in this simulation, that would make me very happy. It's still a long shot. I'm just not going to talk about it. We'll just see what happens. Right, Mike Trout leading the American League in WAR, as it should be. The Phillies winning the NL East. That's interesting to see. That's not something that's going to happen every time. Okay, I can't help but talk about it. The Cubs have a small lead over the Cardinals. This is very exciting for me. They're not the quality of team that necessarily deserves to be winning a division, and that's why they've just gone on a losing streak. Cardinals aren't doing great either. That's pretty much our only hope of getting into the playoffs, is other teams not doing very well. But hey, Javier Baez leading the league in RBIs. You'll love to see it. Andrew Heaney is leading... Oh, no, he's not anymore. But he's up there in the American League in ERA. If he gets another Cy Young, I swear. In the first simulation, if you haven't seen it, check it out, by the way. He came in second in the American League Cy Young voting. And I just thought, well, there's no way he's going to even come close again. But in the second simulation, he won the Cy Young. So, that's just, it's... Alright. Mets and Phillies. Oh, the Cubs lost to Central. I wasn't even paying attention, not gonna lie, I spaced out for a second. That sucks. I didn't even make a wild card. Dodgers sweep the Mets, Cardinals... Dodgers sweep the Cardinals. Will the Dodgers sweep the World Series? No. That would have been exciting. The Angels and the Dodgers both had a perfect postseason record going into the World Series. That's kind of crazy. The Angels beat the Yankees, swept the Astros, swept the Twins. The Dodgers swept the Mets and swept the Cardinals. They were a combined 15-0 going into the World Series. The Twins also swept this team. This was the only... Okay. Of the teams that lost the series in this playoffs, combined from every single series, they only won 3 games. That's not the kind of stat that'll jump out and sound like, oh wow, how could that possibly happen? But that is really, really unlikely, I think. Okay, wow. Walker Buehler and Clayton Kershaw, top 2 in the league in wins. That's good for the Dodgers. So, anyway. Dodgers win their second World Series in 3 simulations. Not very surprising. They're definitely the best team in the majors. Let's take a look at how every team did. So the Rays win the East over the Yankees. That's always exciting. Definitely a good year for them. The Yankees kind of underperforming. Still grabbed a wild card spot, but they would lose it to the Angels. The Red Sox and the Blue Jays, pretty standard. Simulations for them. Orioles, it all makes sense. The Twins, not doing amazing, but doing well enough to win this division. White Sox, not great. Indians, underperforming. Royals and Tigers, both overperforming a bit, but still nothing special. The Astros, best team in the American League. Of course, I just noticed something on the other side of my screen, but I will refrain from yelling about it until I get there, because it's pretty crazy. And instead of talking about the teams I should be talking about right now, I'm just thinking about them. But it's fine. It's fine. We'll talk about the American League. The Angels, a good year. Like we saw, made it all the way to the World Series without losing, but then got taken down by the Dodgers. A's 500 ball, they have not been doing too well in these simulations. The Rangers, again, doing pretty bad. The worst team in the American League. I'm not sure what this game thinks of the Rangers that, like, makes them do so bad every year. But it's just one team. We don't care about the Rangers too much. Over in the National League, we got the Braves winning the division. Makes sense. Phillies and Mets taking the wild cards. There's so many teams that could win wild cards in this game. So, and those two are no exception. Definitely could be playoff-worthy teams. Cardinals winning a weak NL Central. The Cubs not up to it down the stretch. Pirates and Brewers. Pirates doing pretty well, all things considered. And now we get to the NL West. So, in our last simulation, the Dodgers won 114 games. The best record since the 2001 Mariners won 116. And to my knowledge, the only team besides the 2001 Mariners, the 1906 Cubs, and like the 1998 Yankees, I think, to win 114 games. That's it in all of history. Now, they win 115 games. They are only the third team to do that, with the 1906 Cubs and the 2001 Mariners. My title of my last video and the thumbnail was "This team is stacked," and I showed the 114 wins. Should I just roll out that same title, same thumbnail, except with 115 wins? Because honestly, that is pretty insane. Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking about how the Dodgers won 114 and then 115 games. But anyway, let's take a look at who led the league in some stats, how the players did. Hey there, couldn't help but notice that you're still watching the video. I'll assume that means you're enjoying it. If that's the case, how about dropping a like? It makes us here at The Weekly Thing feel good. Comment below what you want to see from this channel, what you think of the videos. And if you're enjoying our content, please consider subscribing. It only takes a second, it's free, and you can always unsubscribe if you change your mind. Yes, I still live from Dream, but he follows me on Twitter, so I can use any of his ideas for free. Okay, back to the video. Alright, Soto, leading the majors in average, on base percentage. He had an on base percentage of almost 500 in 161 games. An 1108 OPS in 161 games. Oh my god, a 496 on base percentage. That's actually so crazy. Holy cow. Oh boy. Wow. Jeez, that's high. I'll try to look at something else, but that's all I want to look at. Let's see, 3 players hit 50 homers, Bellinger, Torres, Hoskins. All makes sense. My boy Baez, first time in a while we've seen a Cub on these leaderboards. Bellinger, Bregman, leading the majors in RBIs. Didi Gregorius leads the majors in slugging. That's pretty interesting. Didn't quite squeeze out a full season, but close to it. And a 1008 OPS. That's pretty good for him. That's like a 95th percentile projection for him, or maybe higher. If we look at the wins above replacement leaderboard, of course it's Juan Soto. We got Bregman, Bellinger, Trout. Trout, I feel, is just... Well, okay. When he performs at the level he has been performing last year, and the last few years, I should say, and just gets injured again, that's not something I'm going to be upset about because, you know, it's injuries. And looks like that's what happened this year, except for one glaring exception. His slugging percentage, much lower than we are accustomed to from him. It's still a fantastic slugging percentage, but doesn't feel very Troutian. But, you know, just a little minor bone to pick there. Soto. Did Soto lead the majors in hits and walks? Of course he did. 210 hits, 153 walks. That is how you get an on-base percentage of 500. Let's see. This game really seems to believe in the people who hit a lot of doubles last year that they're going to hit them again. I mean, Devers has been on this leaderboard every time. Bogarts, every time, I think. Someone we haven't really seen yet on the leaderboards, Eloy Jimenez, leads the majors in total bases. I suppose that makes sense. I guess Soto, he had a really high slugging percentage, but his at-bats were pretty low because of the insane amount that he walked. Malik Smith, my friend, just keeps on stealing more bases. Each time he will get to 100, like I said. You can quote me on that. That 80 this time. Insanely high number for 2020, but this game seems to believe in him, and so do I. Devers and Grichuk leading the majors in extra base hits. Grichuk didn't even have a very good year. I guess he hit for a lot of power. He still had an on-base percentage below 300 though, so you can't be too good. I mean, when you hit 47 homers and lead the majors in extra base hits, and your OPS is still 820, that shows that you might have some holes in your game. Let's see. Rizzo never shows up on the other leaderboards, but he's usually on this one. You'll love to see it. Weighted on base percentage. That's not the leaderboard I'm looking at. I don't know why I said that. Win probability added. He's a clutch player. He does what's best for his team. Let's look at some pitchers. Let's see who did what. Shane Bieber definitely did not have a full season. That's right, yeah. With a 2.10 ERA. That's pretty great, though. Either way. Walker Buehler did have a full season. Pitched very well. Let's see. Anyone too interesting up here? Clayton Kershaw, a bit of a vintage year from him. Bryce Wilson, interesting. These guys are generally pretty predictable to be good in this simulation. Buehler manages to win 20 games. Impressive. Buehler and Bieber were worth 6.5 wins above replacement each, and I've noticed that the pitching war in these games, the way it's calculated or whatever, the best pitchers are never going to be as good as the best hitters. It's just how it works. Which, I mean, it could be totally accurate. I'm not too sure about the math behind it, but it could be true that in real life, the best pitchers just aren't as valuable as the best hitters. Let's see. Yusei Kikuchi, there was a full season. He did pretty well. That's good to see. Good bounce back after a horrible year. Real life, the year before. Garrett Cole not even on the leaderboard for strikeouts. He must have been injured. Tyler Chatwood almost walks 100 batters. No one is surprised there. It's in his nature. Shane Bieber, 12 strikeouts per walk. Oh, that is, quite a bit. Tanaka pitched a lot. ERA was pretty low, won a lot of games. Gave up so many homers that he was still a below average player. That is so many homers. Someone's gonna give up 50 homers in this, and it's just gonna be mind-bending for me. Yeah, Shane Bieber, way better than average. Tehran, very lucky. Don't really care about that, to be honest. DeGrom, even though it wasn't one of his best years, still leads the majors in quality starts. It's in his nature. It's just what he does. There is nothing you could do in this world that would stop Jacob DeGrom from throwing more quality starts than anyone. If it turns out that he didn't lead the majors in quality starts last year, you can just ignore that I said that. Okay. So that's about it for the player stats. I guess next we're gonna look at... We can take a look at some of these streaks. See who got hottest. Albies had a 21-game hitting streak. Okay. Pretty standard home run streaks there. Joe Adele had a fantastic rookie year. Holy cow, 954 OPS. He didn't play that many games, unfortunately, but that's alright. Yep, that's about all we're looking at here. Well, this is something I haven't done yet, but if we look at team statistics, what was the best hitting team? Astros had an 822 OPS. The Dodgers had an 860. So it's looking like the Astros. I don't know what their adjusted OPS would be, but just in terms of raw OPS, the Astros. I'm sure plenty of teams set home run records for themselves. The Rockies not even able to be one of the best hitting teams despite playing at Coors. That's a little unfortunate for them. Let's see what the most homers. 64 for the Dodgers. 279 homers for the New York Yankees. Makes sense that they would lead the majors in that. That's about it to look at for team stats. Maybe let's look at the pitching stats really quick, actually. The lowest ERA belonged to the Dodgers, it looks like. Not very surprising. The lowest OPS allowed, I would assume, is also the Dodgers. No, it was actually the Los Angeles Angels. Not what you expect. But, yeah, no, I was gonna say I guess it makes sense, but, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is just a prediction. So, not super surprising either. When I say prediction, I mean projection. Let's look at... First, let's look at the trades that happened during the season. So, starting back in the 5th month, which is May. I did not have to think about that before I said it. Derek Dietrich to the Royals. Ian Kennedy. That makes sense. Reds got themselves a closer. Did okay, I guess. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. Michael Givens. Angels. Not have a good year. Although he pitched very well with the Angels afterwards. That's a big turnaround there. Yoshihisa Hirano. Don't really care. Brandon Kinsler. Went to the Reds. Pitched really badly for them. That's a trade that worked out for the Marlins. Ooh. Interesting. The Cubs traded for Kevin Newman and a minor league pitcher who didn't have a very good year. That doesn't really say much about him, but for Victor Caratini, who, oh boy, he was fantastic with the Pirates. He was so good with the Pirates. Wow. Oh, yeah, that... How did Newman do? How did Newman do? Tell me he did okay. I mean, he did okay. But... Not well enough to justify this. I mean, Caratini has always been a trade candidate because... Well... Because the Cubs have Contreras. But... I don't know if this trade is worth it, but... You know, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, I was very confused when I read this headline, because I was like... The Reds have DeSclafani. Also have Castellanos. So how does that work? But, turns out DeSclafani... Castellanos, rather. A minor leaguer. DeSclafani did bad for the Reds, good for the Astros. No one is surprised about that. Moving on. Jay Bruce for Marcus Stroman. That makes a lot of sense. Phillies definitely need a pitcher. Looks like the trade worked out. Stroman was good with them. Jay Bruce was bad with the Mets. Very, very bad after being good with the Phillies, so... Brad Hand went to... the Padres. He went back to the Padres. That's where he was before, right? It was, yeah. Brad Hand returns to the Padres. Pedro Strop goes to the Blue Jays. Interesting. How'd he do? He did very bad on both teams. Okay. Cesar Hernandez went to the Red Sox. He was okay with them. He was a lot better for the Indians, though. Well, I'll skip forward a bit. Blair, Aaron Sanchez. Aaron Sanchez just goes right back to the Blue Jays. That's funny. Wait, he was on the Orioles? Maybe I missed something. Aquino goes to the Cardinals. That would hurt as a Reds fan to see someone like that just going across the division. He had a pretty bad start with the Reds. Did okay with the Cardinals. Tyler Anderson pitched very poorly with the Nationals. Darlin Castro hit very well with the Nationals and then pretty bad with the Giants. So both players got worse. Let's see. Yuki Toussaint, I always forget. Leaving the Braves, not something you expect to see, but, you know, they'll trade away prospects if they have to. Jonathan Villar to the White Sox. That's a good fit, actually. That's a pretty good fit. I'm surprised that never happened in real life. He did okay. He did bad with the Marlins, and then he did okay with the Sox. Definitely an improvement over the Sox second baseman. Kevin Kiermaier to the Pirates for Trevor Williams. Kiermaier did really bad with the Pirates on offense. Williams did okay with the Rays. About as well as you can expect that guy to do. He's not someone who's ever, to me, looked like a player with staying power. I'll skip forward a bit. Ooh, okay. Austin Barnes and Keibert Ruiz went to the Rays for Tyler Glasnow. Okay, so a current fill-in catcher and a future prospect catcher for Tyler Glasnow. How'd it go for them? He did pretty well with the Rays. He did pretty solid with the Dodgers as well, but not amazing. Ruiz, he's still a really good prospect. Barnes did really well with the Dodgers in a short time span, and pretty bad with the Rays. That's an interesting trade. The Dodgers would never need more pitching. I don't know why that's something that would happen. The Red Sox traded a top prospect and Matt Barnes, their closer, for Ji-Man Choi. He did okay with the Red Sox. I don't know if I would do that as the GM. I'm not sure if that's worth it, but I don't know. anything to win. And I don't really see anything else interesting. Not a lot of trading action in this simulation. So now we're gonna look at the awards. We're gonna see what happened there. Nicky Lopez leading the American League in batting average. That's something I didn't even mention when I was looking at the stats. That's I mean, I guess his strength is hitting for contact. I don't know. A pretty okay year overall for him. Probably the peak of his powers, but still. Juan Soto, of course, leading in batting average. Let's take a look at the Gold Gloves. Trevor Williams, sure. Castro makes sense. Sano, a little surprising, but not too much. Adrianza, sure. I didn't really know whether he was good or not at defense, but Chapman and Simmons, the mainstays there. I will be surprised when it's not them. Chapman had a pretty bad year for him, but still a great defender. Austin Meadows once again. Byron Buxton makes a lot of sense. And Kyle Tucker. He's got speed. He's a solid all-around player. And now we'll look at the National League Gold Glove. Zach Wheeler. Sure. Real Muto makes a lot of sense. He had a bad year at the plate. Wow. No one would expect Real Muto's on-base percentage to drop below 300. But I guess that's just what happens sometimes. Hosmer, sure. Guillorme. Oh yeah, he's supposed to be a really good defender even at short. So I'm sure he's really good at second. Arenado, of course. Ahmed, sure, yeah. That makes sense. Peralta with another one. Bader, he's a popular pick for best defender. Was not a good hitter, but you know, Gold Glove partially makes up for it. And Mookie Betts, once again, fantastic all-around player, almost identical year as the year before, really. Very similar, actually. Slightly better, I suppose. Wow, that's a very similar year. Anyway, top relievers. The American League gets Roberto Osuna. Oh, great. Personally, not a big fan of this guy. But it's gonna happen sometimes. This one is very surprising. Caleb Ferguson. Wow. Okay. 90 innings pitched, 144 strikeouts for a reliever. Whoa. Yow. Kenley Jansen also top 3. Dodgers had a good bullpen, no doubt about it. The reliever of the year awards are usually not who we expect. That's something I've noticed. Now let's look at the Silver Sluggers. We got Gary Sanchez, of course. Not surprising. Olsen, yes. One of my favorite first basemen. Possibly my second favorite, possibly lower on the list. I have not given it a single thought. Jose Altuve, sure, yeah. Bregman, of course, not surprising. Torres makes sense. Jimenez makes sense. Trout, of course. Nomar Mazara finally with a breakout at the plate. That's cool to see. Someone who has been stagnating for years, an average or maybe even a replacement level player for a while now. But we always knew he had it in him. And JD Martinez. All of those make sense to me. Jack Flaherty with a really good year as a pitcher, actually an above average hitter. Caratini wins the Silver Slugger after we trade him to the Pirates. Of course he does. Of course. Victor Caratini. Of course. Of course. Our backup catcher goes to the Pirates. It's not real life. It's not real life. Josh Bell. Sure. a good hitter. Ketel Marte, okay, repeating his output from last year. You like to see it. Jeff McNeil, OPS of exactly 900. Satisfying. He gets the little satisfaction points there. Didi Gregorius with a great year like we talked about. Juan Soto, of course. Bellinger, once again, of course, and Betts. Betts is, if there was someone who's going to win both a Silver Slugger and a Gold Glove every single time, it would be him and maybe Arenado. Mostly him. Now if we're going to look at some more major awards, we got Rookie of the Year in the American League, Luis Robert. Makes sense. How'd he do? 272, 829, 24 homers. Pretty solid. Pretty good. Luzardo pitches very well, but not as much playing time. Well, probably equal playing time to Robert if you think about hitters and pitchers, but you know, this game does prefer hitters to pitchers. Austin Hayes, he's a popular pick in this game. Didn't even have an OPS of 700, but he did hit 26 homers. He played a full season. That counts for something, right? McKay. Okay. And Pearson played had 200 strikeouts, ERA a bit high. Gavin Lux, once again, winning the Rookie of the Year, 292, 834. Not very surprising there. Bryce Wilson, Sixto Sanchez comes up pretty quickly. Carter Kaboom and Mitch Keller. Sure, nothing too surprising there. Dusty Baker wins Manager of the Year, and Dave Roberts, of course. Okay, Cy Young, Shane Bieber wins it over Andrew Heaney. So at least Heaney did not win, but seriously, second, first, second? I mean, so far, Andrew Heaney is the best pitcher in the American League out of these simulations. And that is just a little bit surprising to me. Shane Bieber definitely deserved it the year he had. Kendall Graveman coming in third? He just pitched a whole season and he was pretty decent, I guess. Looking at all these names, Yusei Kikuchi, the Mariners having 2 people get Cy Young votes. Kinda surprising. And now looking at the National League, Cy Young, Walker Buehler. Makes sense. DeGrom comes in second. Which, he'd better. Flaherty, Kershaw, Fried, Gallen, Porcello. No one too surprising there, except for Porcello. Porcello, I lied. Porcello's very surprising. He's like the 7th best pitcher on the Mets. He hasn't been good in real life for a while. But, I don't know. This guy just always seems to overperform himself. And, I am a little angry right now by what I've just read as this top headline here. First, we'll look at Bregman. American League MVP, beating out Gleyber Torres. Mike Trout comes in third. Sure, no one, not too surprising there. Anyone surprising on this list? Bieber getting some votes. Reyes is on there. Grichuk is on there, despite his measly on-base percentage, as we discussed. But everyone on here probably not too surprising, I guess, besides Grichuk. And looking at this, what a travesty this is. What a travesty. Look, I'm a big fan of Cody Bellinger, but Juan Soto, he had a 496 on base percentage in 161 games. How do you justify this? Where does it say 8.8 wins above replacement, right? 8.8 compared to 10.4. That's not just like half a win, that's a win and a half of a difference. That's very significant. You'd say, oh, Bellinger had a good on-base percentage too. Yes, he had a really good on-base percentage, and Soto's was 93 points higher. He had a really good slugging percentages. Soto's was still a bit higher. He had a pretty good batting average. Soto's was 60, what? 62, 65 points higher. Soto's was 65 points higher. Like, Bellinger hit more home runs. He was a bit of a better defender. According to WAR, he was not a better player, but whatever, it's just simulation. I should not be upset about it. Alright. Anyone else on here surprising? McCutcheon. That's pretty cool. You like to see a bounce back year from him. Oh, and rate-wise, he was a fantastic hitter, actually. 947 OPS from the old guy. That's pretty great. You definitely do like to see that. David Dahl getting on there? Sure, why not? My boy Rizzo on the list, as he deserves to be. And that's about it for the awards. So, I always forget where to find this, but I'm gonna look for the best performances of the year. Individual games. Here it is. That wasn't too bad. Game performance ranking. Best game of the year. Jock Peterson, 4 homers. There it is. It was only a matter of time before we got one of these. Jock Peterson goes yard 4 individual times, driving in 10 against the Padres. You like to see it. Anyone from the Cubs on here? Hey, Rizzo had a good game. Baez, and actually an identical game in everything measured here, so that's unlikely. Baez, another good game, this time against the Brewers. There we go. My boy's finally getting some representation in these. Those are both the White Sox. Okay. Sonny Gray throws a 14 strikeout. Is that a perfect game? If there were no errors or like hit by pitches, then that's... The Reds made an error. Oh no. Wait, who got on? No walks. Was someone hit by pitch? Pitch, maybe? Will it say here? Well, regardless, it wasn't a perfect game. But a 14 strikeout no-hitter with no walks. This is what we like to see. I was talking last time about how the best games haven't been very good in this. This is what we like to see. And on top of that, we've got another no-hitter right here. Another one from Brendan McKay, as well as the one from Lance Lynn. Another one from Jake Arrieta. Oh, Jake Arrieta. Throwing a no-hitter. Yes, you love to see it. That's the 3rd one of his career. The old guy deserves it. He deserves it. And looking a bit further down the list, that's it for the no-hitters, but... looks like this 15 strikeout start from DeGrom was the most strikeouts of the year. Or no, actually the 16 strikeout start from DeSclafani after he goes to the Astros. Not very surprising there. Wow. 4 no-hitters. This is definitely a lot more exciting than we've been seeing in terms of the best games of the year. But overall, the Dodgers somehow improve on their last season. And that's about it. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please comment below if you want to see more Out of the Park baseball content, what kind of stuff you'd like to see. Comment below what you thought of this simulation. Please subscribe if you're enjoying the videos. Also check out the first 2 episodes in this series. And that's about it. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.